Hey guys, this is the Seattle Ring Hunter, and we're actually out here in North Bend this morning, and we're here with Edward. Ed, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on today and why we're out here?
Yeah, it's just kind of desperate situation to try to look for three rings: a wedding ring, an engagement ring, and then just another, nice piece of high-end jewelry ring. And just after. To be honest with you, it's kind of after an epic, big fight, disagreement, with my wife, and I shouldn't have done this, but to be honest with you, I don't know, my mind wasn't in the right place, and then in a fit of rage, I never done this before, but I grabbed 4 rings, which was one, my personal wedding ring, and then her 3 rings, and then one by one I came out to the balcony, and late at night in the dark I threw them out over my balcony out into the
right out in there,
towards the deep backyard into the woods.
And
it was snowing, 3 feet of snow at the time. And I just assumed I never would see him again,
Right.
Then obviously, even just an hour later and the next day, you regret what you did. And then I couldn't look for it because it was all 3 feet of snow. So I had to wait another week for everything to melt. And the first day it melted, where I could have visibility, I went out there probably about 6 or 7 hours, and I was able to find mine.
Oh, okay.
I found my ring. Yeah. So, but I'm still missing 3, and I was out there 7 hours, and I just had a chintzy metal detector, and I don't really have
I'm not an expert. A metal detector from a friend, and
and then but still, kind of encouraged when I found mine, but really discouraged I couldn't find the other 3, which are more important, because
absolutely
there's no way to kind of remedy the situation with my wife unless I find those.
Yeah.
Especially the one.
Extremely important.
Yeah, probably one is more important than the other 2.
Being the wedding engagement ring.
The engagement ring. So just as far as sentimental value, but so until then, I'm really, really, really in the doghouse. So anyway, so I couldn't find it, and then real discouraged, and I was gonna. The next day I have off from work, I was going to come out here again and just keep doing it. And then we were able to find on the internet, yourself.
The ring finders?
Yeah, the ring finders. And then
awesome.
Had so many amazing reviews in different scenarios and situations that we called you, and then now you're here to help us out.
I'm very thankful you guys were able to find the support. And today, guys, as we said before, these stressful situations, we get maybe 1 to 2 or 3 calls throughout the month, for people in this situation. So if you find yourself in that situation, I just want to say, don't feel like we're going to give you a hard time or call you out on it or anything. This happens. We're used to this. Everyone's human, and so we thank Ed for sharing his story to maybe help encourage others out there that might find themselves in this situation. You don't necessarily have to come on camera, but just to let you know, we do have opportunities and capabilities to help people in this situation. So with that being said, the 3 rings, we're going to focus on that just for a second. They're pretty substantial rings. They mean a lot to the family, the sentimental value, and the whole end result of this is getting them back for the family. That's absolutely our priority and our focus on this. They are very nice pieces of jewelry. So with that being said, they're not dainty in size. We've got a platinum and we've got some white gold rings out there. They got the diamonds and all that, and you guys will hopefully be able to see that later on as we make the recovery out here. He did find his wedding band, and we're going to do a test throw here in just a moment so we can kind of get a trajectory on how he's throwing. And he mentioned earlier that he's got a little bit of a issue with his arm, so he's he shared a little bit about that. So it's maybe not way back in the back 40, but it'll be over here, and this is on a private property, so we know that they're absolutely here on the property. So with that, we're very confident that we should be able to get this recovered here. So with that, let me go ahead and get geared up. Sound like a good plan to you?
Yeah.
I can start the work on out here, and see if over here in this area we can bring all 3 of those rings back and turn this situation around to a better resolve.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
What's funny is that if I threw it here like there, but you're right. I actually found it, the one right there, huh?
Yeah.
So it seems to me about 5 feet to the right of where I would have thought it.
And you basically just came right out of the sliding glass door.
Because I was in bare feet, and I came out here, and then I just had a little way, and I guess it was either here or might have been here. Then that makes sense.
So you had all the rings in your left hand, and you took your right hand one at a time.
Yeah, just one at a time. Yeah, and that's probably maybe right here.
Here's a ring I've weighted a little bit, so it's similar in weight to some of those.
Yeah, this is something like that.
Yeah, and everything. So if you just come back, kind of walk through the scenario as if you're just walking out of the slider a little bit, and that'll just line you up with kind of where you were. And when you feel confident, just give it what you got.
Yeah, it's like here. Maybe I didn't put my foot here because that wouldn't make sense. I wouldn't have had a good base. It was right here. Okay. There's no way I was any further than this.
And just throw it. Well, yep, just do it.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh look, that's about where. Yeah. You're to the right of the dark brown bush.
Yeah.
But mine was what, maybe 3 or 4 feet further.
Alright guys, we're just going to go out here and get set up here in the backyard. I may just do a little bit of poking around in the bushes back here, taking a look before I actually set up the grid lines to see if they're actually necessary. I might pick 1, 2, or 3 of the rings before having to put the grid line tapes out, but being that will take a little energy right here, we're looking back on the top right there behind the couch. The right glass is the sliding glass door up on the balcony, and his test ring right there. And of course we both agree, and he even admitted that he probably had quite a bit more distance on that throw because he had a lot of a stressful situation, a lot of energy there. Like he said, his ring was found over there. Now we got 3 other ones, and they were a bit more weight to at least 2 of them potentially than his wedding band. So the other ones are probably in here somewhere in the vicinity. Just to take a quick look back here, a quick visual look. We've got a lot of the rhododendron here, strikingly, can cover up these rings. They could be right in the middle of these rhododendrons as well, and we'll get the metal detector in here to work for us here in a moment. But we just want to look in here. That's the potential on the backside that he was concerned about, is that it's pretty thick and bushy back there. Now we're starting to understand what some of his concern was. These rocks with the moss on them could be a little slippery. We're gonna have to investigate this pretty heavily. And that's not super encouraging down there. We want to keep positive on this. And now I understand where his concerns lie. That is pretty daunting down there for sure. But I want to get in here and hopefully clear out this area and hopefully find the rings. Hopefully they didn't go that far down. Even if we do take a little visual look here, because this is gonna pretty deep in there, and it goes really deep. It's pretty concerning. So he could be in this area down in here, down in there. I'm not going to spend too much time here visually looking, because the reality is the metal detector is going to clear this out a hell of a lot better than my eyeballs at this point. I want to be absolutely 100% certain on this before we start investing large sums of energy looking down in there. Coming around here. bright light in case the ring's sitting in there. It would, diamond would definitely catch. The more I'm looking at this situation, I think I may just have to pull the tape measures out and just go 100 feet. That's probably going to be a good plan of action. Peg it in the grass 100 feet straight down the back. So let me go ahead and start gearing up for that. And we'll get some searching going here, underway. Man, that is one heck of a pile of mess down there. But hey, let's not be discouraged. The day is young. We've got some opportunity here. Here we go. And there's only one way to get through this, with the tape measures. That's all I can say at this point. The tape measures. Grid line search. A lot of topography and you don't want to miss an inch here. looking up there from the trajectory, you would think, why would it be poking down here behind this big rock as a shield? But if it hit the bush and bounced in there and just kind of trickled down in here, you don't want to leave that opportunity. You just can't overlook any area whatsoever as best as we can. I mean, this is a small pinpointer, of course. Try to get it on the side here. A little bit more of a wiper blade effect on the way the carrot works. And get in here and kind of clear where it might be difficult with the metal detector coil. Of course, even with the hot shot coil, you can only get so far in there. So poking around like this is definitely well worth taking the time to clear this area. Just a test. Yep, still working. Good. Especially on such a high profile, all of these ring finds. Always want to make sure my gear's operating as intended. I'll poke around in here a little bit since it's you got leaves, you got snow, snow's melting. Don't be afraid to call when the snow's out. Sometimes the snow is actually a benefit. The ring's still up off the bottom of some of that terrain down there. You get the metal detector coil over the top of that and still be able to do a recovery without it falling all the way down through all the layers of branches. So keep that in mind. Don't think that, oh, I'm just going to let the snow melt and I'm going to go out there, walk out there and see where they went after the snow's gone. You need to call a recovery specialist as soon as you have come to the understanding you've lost anything, no matter how it's gotten lost. Time is your enemy in a lot of situations. Here it's a private property, so that's good. Everything here is not going anywhere. That's a good point about that, but I may have had a little more opportunity. Don't know for sure when the snow was here. Of course it can be cold too, so this just happened recently, so these guys here, they got right on top of trying to get this recovered and did everything they could. So definitely no criticism intended here. Just letting people know, if you're watching this, pick up the phone and call. Get someone out to work with you as soon as possible so we can exhaust all viable opportunity to get your lost valuables recovered. For sure. It's in the ground. Unfortunately, I don't believe this is the ring. In the dirt. Nope. Sadly, not the ring. And I'm not here about digging up the property for a bunch of garbage and trash. Nails. Found our first nail for the day. Sooner or later, you're going to be digging some nails. That's just the way it works. One thing though is encouraging is that the metal detector is working. Pulling targets. That's all we need. So I'm looking straight up. I can see that deck in the back of that couch area right by that slider. So we are definitely within a trajectory path. Anywhere in here. Anywhere in here. The other two rings, his own ring, is at the grass line, and so was the test ring. He's quite sure he cranked it up a bit more for hers. So anywhere in here is fair game. Only one way to get through it all, inch by inch. Can't find nothing in here. Trust me, if there's a ring in there, this thing would be going off like crazy. So we're confident in that at least. It's the wire for the wireless dog fence. Made a perimeter. Somebody that lived here before. It's tacked down with a piece of metal. Alright. I found that. Fortunately, it's not on. Hi guys, we're back. This is the second search day on this epic adventure. We're looking to find the 3 lost rings, so let's get right to work and see if we can isolate the zone. As soon as we find the first ring, it should tell us a lot in comparison with the test ring and his wedding band that were found. And if we get in the same location, we know that we can fully exhaust that area and hopefully collect all 3 today and get these all recovered. Come along for the search, guys. Thanks. Right there's the deck where he stood from. We're going to go around all these shrubs and blow onto the inside. The gear is right up there, that bush right behind it. His wedding band was found. Peak of the house, as you can see, is up there. He's on the deck. Easily could have thrown it in these areas. If you've lost your ring or special item of value, please get in touch with me at the SeattleRingHunter.com as soon as possible so I can arrange to do a search for you.